Hey, good morning, everyone. Heather Ash Amara here. Just finished. We just are in the middle, actually, with the Warrior Goddess Training Circle, which is our membership circle. We just are in the middle of our first retreat, and I just had the blessing of getting to see my dear friend Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. come present to our circle. So magical. So that's happening now. And I'm with you all, which I love. So welcome, everyone. This is day 7 of our Warrior Goddess New Year's. I think it's day 7. I'm going to go look. New Year giveaway. I think it's actually day 8. It's day 8. We're cranking. And our focus today is on the word speak, what it means to communicate, to speak from the heart, to open up to that beauty of learning how to share from our heart. And it is good. So good morning, Mindy. Good morning, Christine. So for all of you, Gail, that are just joining, if you can take a moment to share where you're tuning in from, that's always lovely. And we are going to do a couple things today. We're going to talk about this idea of communication, clear, open-hearted, unconditional communication. And we are also going to do some sort of a kind of gathering intent setting together. I realized a couple of days ago, I got excited about us gathering together to put energy towards healing. And I didn't do it yesterday, so we'll do it today. Welcome, Debbie, Sylvia, yay, Karen, Betty, Elisa, Jen, Karen, Christine, hello, Mindy, welcome everybody. And also waving to those of you that are watching this later, because I know some of us are live, yay! Some of us will be watching the recording later. So I am tuning in live from Las Vegas, New Mexico, not Las Vegas, Nevada, Las Vegas, New Mexico, which is to the east of Santa Fe. And this land used to be part of the Jacarillo Apache land, and it also was the roaming place of the Apaches, of the Comanches, and of the Kiowa. There are many pueblos in this area. The Jemez Pueblo is the closest pueblo here. And I just want to honor the ones that came before us and stewarded this land. And I'm really blessed to be the steward of 180 acres of land, just a half hour from where I am now. I'm in the town of Las Vegas right now at my partner's house. We're moving, so exciting. So today we are moving into his new house. It's so fun. And then the land, which is called the Warrior Heart Ranch, is just a half hour from here. Hey, waving at you, Amy, down the street in Ruidoso. So over the last year, my kind of pandemic being grounded has put me into learning how to build a house. And we're actually in the process of building a community kitchen for the retreat center that will be at the Warrior Heart Ranch, which again is just outside of Santa Fe, New Mexico, in a little town called San Geronimo. Hey, Serena. Yeah. So lots is happening here. And we're in the middle of what we're calling the Warrior Goddess New Year giveaway. Everybody is welcome to participate. And part of the giveaway is these love streams. These live streams are happening every day through January 11th at 9 a.m. Los Angeles, noon New York, and 5 p.m. London. So good morning to some of you, good afternoon to some of you. And we will be, again, broadcasting live every day through the 11th. We also have an email that's going out every day with a word and a little video from members of our community. Hey, Leanne. And so you can also be part of that. If you're not on our email list, if you want to join the giveaway, I'm going to give you the link. Part of the giveaway as well is a physical drawing that we are doing for gifts. So let me just share this with you. Boop. There is the link to the giveaway. Sorry, show. warriorgoddess.com/giveaway. So you can join us in the giveaway by clicking on that link. You just have to give your name and your email address. We'll put you into getting the daily emails. And you also then are entered into a drawing. So we're going to be doing a drawing every day for somebody to win 2 autographed copies of 2 different of my books, as well as a gift. So what the giveaways are, I've been doing giveaways for years. And what I do is I literally go through my own personal stuff and see what I'm ready to pass on to somebody. So it's something that I've really loved, that's had meaning to me, and then I share it. So everybody that enters into the giveaway, which you can do by going to warriorgoddess.com/giveaway, will do this random drawing. We'll be announcing the winners. Hey, Tamara. Hey, Jessica. On January 15th. So you have an opportunity to win 11 different times, because there'll be 11 different drawings for the January 1st through January 11th day. Hey, Doe. Hey, Susan. And you also will then be entered into a free drawing. And that drawing is for our grand prize. And the grand prize is a 1-year membership in our Warrior Goddess Training Circle. Super exciting. As well as 2 coaching sessions with our Warrior Goddess mentor. So really amazing grand prize. So make sure that you join warriorgoddess.com/giveaway. If you're already on our mailing list, if you're already on the email list, you are welcome to join the physical drawing. There's a paragraph that says click here to put yourself into the drawing. You only have to press that little link once. Okay, so you don't have to press it repeatedly. Great. Corin, thank you for your email. Yeah, if you guys want to share your emails here, but you might not want to, you can also just go directly to giveaway.com and put your name in, or email it to us, hello@heatherashamara.com. I'm going to grab your email, Cora, and put you in case you are not. So, all right, loves. So again, today our theme for the New Year giveaway is on speak. And we're actually going through the 10 lessons in my best-selling book, Warrior Goddess Training. So the Warrior Goddess Training book came out, I think 7 or 8 years ago. And for 4 years, that book was on the Amazon best-selling list in 2 different categories. It was number 1 for 4 years. And recently it just bumped back up to number 1 again, which is kind of unheard of. Well, not unheard of, but it's very rare for a book that's been around for a long time to bump back up. So I'm really grateful that that book is getting out into the world, and that so many people are resonating with the teachings, because we really need good tools, good teachings, and community. And we have all of that. When I wrote Warrior Goddess Training, my intent was not just to put another book out into the world. My intent was to create a community, to create a revolution. And so part of that revolution now, thanks, Tamara, part of that revolution now is a group of women that are working together very deeply to embody the teachings, to learn how to come back home to themselves. How to become the woman you're meant to be is the tagline for Warrior Goddess Training. I also have many other books. I've actually written 8 books. So you can go check out all the resources that are available to you. And I also have a podcast, it's at warriorgoddess.com/podcast, warriorgoddess.com/podcast. So there's another way that you can tune into the teachings. As we learn how to be in the world in a good way. And when I say a good way, what I mean is not good, bad, right, wrong. What I mean is from a place of being compassionate, present, open-hearted, unconditional. The tagline of our New Year giveaway is how to ditch expectations and live unconditionally. So let's talk about what it means to be unconditional. What that means is that you're not withholding your love from yourself or others. That you're not going into old patterns. I shouldn't say that you're not, but that we're mindful, that we're learning how to, as I think about it, smooth off the rough edges, rough edges of where we remove our love, the rough edges of where we judge ourselves or others, the rough edges of where we go into victimization. And we're all going to do these things. It's not like this is never going to happen. But can we learn, the lesson we talked about yesterday is, can we learn to open to our closures? And it's the same thing. Can we learn to open to our mistakes? Can we learn to open our heart to the places that we make messes? Can we learn to open our heart to where we take things personally? Can we open our heart to where we're unconditional? That's learning how to be unconditional, is to be unconditional with our conditionality, is to realize there's times that we're going to go into reaction, that we're going to make mistakes, that we're going to judge other people, and that we're learning how to open our heart to ourselves and navigate as we go through. And that we're learning from our mistakes, and that we're learning to speak more clearly to ourselves and to others. This idea of speak, of using the voice, is that the voice is connected to your heart. This is not always going to be the case. Sometimes you're going to react out of anger or frustration, and that we're learning how, again, to be connected to our truth, what is true, to start to separate out so that we can take away the old stories, the old agreements, the places that were unconscious, so that we can really learn to speak with love, with presence to ourselves and with others and to others. Often, we're not really taught how to communicate. We're taught to judge ourselves. We often have really negative self-talk that stems out of not really being in alignment with ourselves, with our true selves. We're often out here punishing and judging ourselves rather than allying and being in relationship with ourselves. So this idea of speaking is, what are you saying to yourself? How are you speaking to yourself? Do you speak to yourself from a place of compassion and love? Or do you speak to yourself from a place of judgment and frustration? And when our self-dialogue, when our inner dialogue is from judgment, frustration, victimization, that's what we end up putting out into the world as well. That's how we speak to others. That's how we respond to others. So it's really critical that we come back into an ally relationship with ourselves, that we're in a friendship with ourselves rather than seeing ourselves as the enemy. Okay. And how do you do this? A piece of it is really starting to watch your mind. Where does your mind go? How are you talking to yourself? And to start to witness it. And one of the things that we talked about a few days ago, is this idea of oil rising, that we have all this unconscious, old emotions that we haven't cleaned up, stories, agreements that we've taken on or that we've made up, and that all of that content is oil, and that when you start pouring water in of consciousness, of healing, that the oil starts to rise. And this happens for us individually and also happens in the collective. So there's been a lot of oil rising in the collective, and there's oil rising in ourselves as well. And that's part of the natural process of healing, actually, is it gets messy for a while. It's part of the healing. So the oil rising, it's rising from the unconscious or the subconscious, and it's rising up into our conscious being. And what heals it is, instead of then talking negatively about it, like, I shouldn't be having this oil, this shouldn't be happening, what's wrong with me, it's this person's fault, I'm going to blame somebody else, I'm going to blame myself, I'm going to feel ashamed, that we start to say, oil, period, hi, there's oil here. Okay? And that we bring that up on its way out. I'll share a story of my experience of being in relationship with my own oil around learning to change how I was in relationship with myself. Yeah, we all have our work cut out for us, for sure. Many years ago, I was living up in Northern California, up in a little cabin without electricity. about 3 miles down a very rough dirt road. And I was working with a group. I was apprenticing with Don Miguel Ruiz, author of the Four Agreements. And we had every Easter, or for Ash Wednesday and through Lent, we would do some sort of a big cleanse. And so I decided one year that what I really wanted to cleanse was how I spoke, was my mind. Like, I realized that I had a lot of negative self-talk, that I had a lot of opinions, and I wanted to shift that. And so I decided for 40 days to go into silence while I was in relationship with the world. And so I literally would go to work with a whiteboard, and I would write to my boss. I would, when I was like going to the grocery store, if I had to communicate with anybody, I would write things out. And I was in silence really for about 45 days. It took me a while. And what happened at that time is I went into this silence thinking, this is going to help me clean up so much. And this is going to be so beautiful. I'm going to get to listen to the voice of the divine and quiet my own voices and create more stillness inside of myself. Now, that is not what happened right away. In fact, that took months, a month or so. What happened is I got to watch the content of my mind. I had got quieted down enough that I got to hear my own inner dialogue. And some of you have perhaps read this story in Warrior Goddess training, or heard me share this. I was driving to work one day, and I had a 45-minute commute down a very windy road down across a river. I lived up on the San Juan Ridge outside of Grass Valley and in Nevada City. And as I was driving to work in the morning, I heard this voice. And this voice sounded something like this. Oh my God, you're going to be late. I can't believe you're going to be late. You left late again. What's wrong with you? You're always running late, and you're going to get in trouble. Your boss is going to be upset with you. You're already doing the silence thing, and now you're late for work, and he's going to get mad at you, and you're probably going to get fired. And if you get fired, you're going to lose your house because you won't have a way to pay rent. And if you can't pay rent, then what are you going to do? You're going to end up homeless, or you're going to end up sleeping on your friends' couches and mooching from them. And then they're going to get mad at you, and you're probably going to end up alone someplace. So there's this voice going nonstop in my head, and I'm witnessing it really for the first time. And I was like, what is that? What is happening? Hey, Jennifer. And what I realized, well, I'll tell you that later. So it was this loud voice as I'm driving and witnessing, and then it shifted to pictures, to images. So the story then shifted to my mind. This is all in my mind, showing me, because I'm driving too fast, I'm going to turn, I'm going to go over the cliff, and the car is going to roll down the ravine and explode, and I'm going to die. So then my inner dialogue is bringing pictures on to show me how terrible my death is going to be. And I'm watching my mind thinking, what is happening? And what I realized, more than just that voice that scared me, was that was always going in the background, that I always had this negative self-talk, what I started calling disaster mind, and that I hadn't realized it until that moment. And there's some, I think many of us can relate to the disaster mind, this idea of disaster mind. It's that inner voice that's always looking at what could go wrong. It's in the future, what could go wrong in the future, or it's in the past, beating you up for things that happened in the past. Anybody relate to this? Disaster mind. That's how most of us talk to ourselves, sometimes without even realizing it. Yeah, critics escalating internal talk, exactly. And then pulling in stories and other words. And you can see that the disaster mind, it's going to start snooping into your history to find the places of where to judge and beat you up or feel victimized by. Okay, hey Chantal. So okay, I'll go back and answer your question. Yeah, so self-bullying, exactly. Yeah, I can relate so much. So over then the coming 30 days, let's say, in my silence, I started looking at, what do I do with this voice, this inner dialogue? And it did not go, having the awareness of it did not make it go away. It actually made it worse. And this is an important part of the healing process, is that as you begin to witness yourself, you're going to see a lot more oil. And it's not that there's more oil, It's just that you're now seeing it. Yeah, exactly. It can be very pushy and mean. Exactly, Heather. Yeah. And so that oil rising, that inner dialogue, it's a painful part of the process to realize how mean you are. I also call it mean girl syndrome. It's how mean we are to ourselves, how much we bully ourselves, how much we shame ourselves. We're using our inner voice to punish ourselves. So how do we heal it? How do we change the inner dialogue? How do we change the way we speak to ourselves? It takes time. Healing is first witnessing, getting separate so that you can start to watch what you're doing to yourself and what the consequences are. And then as you start to witness and see how it causes you to lose energy, how it causes you to be in reaction to other people or to defend yourself or to constantly feel bad about yourself, as you start to witness instead of believing what your mind is saying, you're going to start to be able to change your relationship with your mind and actually make your mind your ally. Invite it to be your ally. I love it. It's my itty bitty shitty committee. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I was once with a group of ministers, unity ministers, and they were talking about, oh God, let me think of the right word. It was so funny. Oh, mushing. They were talking about this idea of mushing. And I was like, what's mushing? And they said, making up shit. So a lot of us mush. We mush things. We make up stuff. And we're making up stuff about ourselves. We're making up stuff about other people and how other people are responding. So there's all this noise in the head. What I learned from being in silence is that you can create the spaciousness inside of you for your mind to rest into your heart so that the mind becomes more and more quiet. It doesn't stop. The mind is going to constantly be making up stories and images. That's its job. But you can change how it's doing that. And that the natural state of the mind, when the mind is healed, it rests into the heart. And then you can make choices from there. Then you're not in reaction anymore, you're in response. And the biggest gift that I learned from that silence around disaster mind is this idea of the period. Okay. Chris, yeah, the disaster mind. The inner narrative is the shadow work I've been digging out like a tick head. Yes, you have created a sacred space where we can tune in to stay focused, grounded, and celebrate in sight of the chaos. Yes, that was my intent. So I'm glad that you're feeling that, is to create sacred space as we step into 2021 so that we can really get clear about where we want to put our energy as we step into this new year. And that to do that without expecting things are going to be different or not be different. Things are going to be what they are. But we can show up and do this work of changing our inner dialogue so that the mind rests into the heart, so that we're present here with what's arising. And that allows us to be more creative and intuitive and clear about where we want to put our energy. So here is one of the most fundamental, profound teachings that is in my book, Big Freedom. So the first book I ever wrote was a book called The 4 Elements of Change. It's been republished 4 times. I love this. And the 4th version, the most updated version, is called Big Freedom, the little book of Big Freedom. And the period, so this is one of my favorite teachings, super simple. Whenever you notice yourself going into disaster mind, that inner voice and that inner dialogue of going into the past and beating yourself up or feeling victimized or judgmental for what happened in the past, or going to the future and making up worst case scenarios of what could happen, because all of these things cause us to lose energy, to drain our energy, so we can't be present. What you want to do is the moment you start to notice, oops, my disaster mind's taken over, take a breath and put a period into the sentence. Because what disaster mind is comma, comma, semicolon. It's this huge run-on sentence. Pause. Yes, exactly. Pause and observe. And put a period in the sentence of wherever your mind is, period. Take a breath. Let there be space and stillness. Period. Take a breath. Space. Stillness. You'll have a tiny bit of space before your mind starts up again. But it's in that space that you can start making new choices, that you can start really, the first places witnessing, starting to put the period in the sentence, making more spaciousness, and then change your inner dialogue to start to bring in love, to start to bring in something new. Yeah, so Maria, morning music, that's perfect. To bring music in, to bring an affirmation in, to bring positivity in. That's the next step. And over time, your system will start to rewire so that your inner dialogue becomes sweet, becomes very loving. My relationship with myself and my inner dialogue now is completely different than it was 20 years ago when I was doing that silence. My inner dialogue now is, I'd say 99% of the time, maybe 95% of the time, I still fall into judging myself. I still fall into comparing myself. I still fall into beating myself up, no doubt. And I'm able to redirect pretty quickly. Okay. So I still mess up. Absolutely. I still make mistakes. I still punish myself. I still feel overwhelmed at times. And much of the time, my inner dialogue is like this. Hi, sweetheart. How are you? Good morning. It's sweet. And even when I make a mistake, there's still love. There's still presence. That's my relationship with myself that has transformed. And it's taken years. And what it takes is tools, having community and having tools. So some of you are sharing your email addresses. Thank you for that. And I'll sign you up for the giveaway. Again, these love streams that are going through January 11th, that I'm doing every day at 9 a.m. Los Angeles, noon New York, 5 p.m. London, are part of a larger giveaway. So if you want to join us in the giveaway, please go to warriorgoddess.com/giveaway. Would love to put you in for the drawing. And the drawing is for 2 signed autographed copies of my book and a gift from my personal collection. So we're doing random drawing, 11 different opportunities to win. Thanks, Cindy and Lisa. And also the grand prize drawing, which is a year-long membership into our Warrior Goddess Training Circle and 2 coaching sessions. So lots of yumminess. You can go sign yourself up, warriorgoddess.com/giveaway, or if you want to share your email, I'll make sure the team puts you in to the giveaway. All right. So questions, thoughts. How is your relationship to your inner dialogue? Do you have a mean girl voice? Or do you have compassion for yourself? How do you talk to yourself most of the time? Yeah, would love to shift from reaction to response. Exactly. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, sweethearts. Happy to sign you up. So, yeah. And I'm in the middle of moving. This is so you guys can see. The background's beautiful, just so I can show you guys behind the scenes. Here's what is around me. We're in the process of moving, and there's stuff everywhere. So that's the behind the scenes. Yeah. Yeah, so stressed. Yeah, and so let's talk about this. Let's talk about the stress. You know, and I'm open to questions. You know, I'll be on with you all for about another 10 minutes. Any questions you have or any shares? Stress. One of the things I learned from researching stress is that stress isn't a problem in our world, but being stressed about our stress is a problem. And for me, it's also the dialogue we have about our stress. Is your inner dialogue creating stress? And if you shift your inner dialogue, you may still have some stress, but you'll be in a very different relationship with it. So that is a question I will ask you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Chantel. It's not about getting rid of, it's about being in relationship with, and that's where the power within fires and ignites to make the change. I am once again so thankful for the love and wisdom. Oh, thank you, Chantel. And it's so true, sweetheart. So it's not this idea of like, I have to get rid of my negative voice. It's bad. We're going back into the same dynamic. It's really about opening to be in relationship with, yeah, there's a piece of me that's is negative, or that's ashamed, or that's fearful. How do I open and hold my love and redirect my attention? Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Kimberly. Hi, sweetheart. Is it important to know the root cause of the negative inner dialogue, identify triggers, or to just work on changing it moving forward? Gratitude. Such a good question. I would say both and neither. So you don't need to know the root cause of your inner dialogue, of the negativity. You don't need to know the root cause, and it can be helpful. So part of our exploration is to be curious about, where is this negativity coming from? Where did I learn it? But also what's more important is to start shifting it in the moment. You know, my favorite story around this is, if you imagine that you're walking through a forest and you get shot by a poison arrow, and you say, somebody says, oh my God, let me pull the poison arrow out of you. And you're like, no, do not pull the poison arrow. I first need to know who shot this poison arrow and what their intent was and what their family's dynamic is. And you don't let them pull the arrow out. What's happening? You're being poisoned. So I always say, in relationship with your own negative self-talk or reactions or triggers, first pull the arrow out. Stop hurting yourself and poisoning yourself. Then if you want to figure out where that trigger came from, you can then start investigating. Okay, it's great. Yeah. Larissa, I'm really need to try to just observe and not take it personally, not the current situation or others. When I feel like I've fallen into an old pattern. Yeah, exactly. So when you notice I'm angry, I'm judgmental, I'm scared, can you witness it? And not not start telling yourself more stories about, I shouldn't be feeling this way, or I need to figure out why I'm feeling this way and I'm going to really struggle with it. But just to open to witnessing what's going on and doing that with more and more compassion. And this is all about energy. This is so much about energy, which is why I love the teachings, is that we're learning how to bring more energy in. When you have more energy available, you're able to then change where your attention goes. This is all about your attention, right? Where does your attention go? And can you hold all of it? Can you hold all of it? When you have energy, you can create more spaciousness and be at choice, have more choice. When you're judging yourself for where you're at, you're leaking energy, and that you lose the energy to make the change, to shift your attention, right? Molly, I love that. Yeah, to touch your cheeks and to say, sweetie, what do you need? That you do better. And this physically touching yourself is really helpful. A really beautiful exercise that you can do to start changing your inner dialogue. It's not an easy one, but to look at a mirror, to go in front of a mirror and just look at yourself and just, hi, just to say hello. And instead of pointing out all your faults and judging yourself for things, just look into your own eyes and say hi. Feel that gratitude for this being that you are. Yeah. Cindy, I'm having the worst time I've ever had with myself. I'm so ready for change. Yeah, it's a challenging time in so many ways. And next week, so again, for those of you that are new to me, or those of you that need a good refresh, next week I'm doing an online intensive, so a 90-minute exploration into a lot of these concepts that I've been bringing forward through the New Year giveaway. So you can sign yourself up at the giveaway, or if you want to give me your address, I'll put you in. It's warriorgoddess.com/giveaway, and that'll put you in the email list. Actually, I'm sorry, this is the one to join the webinar or the online intensive. It's claim, warriorgoddess.claim. So for those of you that have just shared your emails, I'll put you in the giveaway. Make sure that you pay attention to the email so you can put yourself pick your date for next week. Okay, so we'll be sending out emails Tuesday. Yeah, Nikki, it is exhausting. It's exhausting to be angry. It takes a tremendous amount of energy. And anger isn't the problem. Anger is normal. It's the stories. It's the stories that you're telling yourself that are creating the anger. Or it's the place where the anger is a sign that something needs to be adjusted. Okay. Yeah, there will be a replay. All right. So again, I'm doing a series. There's 4 different options to choose from. Reclaim your wholeness. Or sorry, I'm getting my things mixed up. So erase, erase, erase. The online intensive next week, 90 minutes. There's 4 different options of times that you can join us. And that is claim your warrior goddess self. And that's the warriorgoddess.com/claim. That will be an immense. What I'm going to do is share an overview to help you see where you're stuck, where your next action can be, and to create a sense of hope and to create a sense of inspiration. Okay, claim your warrior goddess self. That is warriorgoddess.com/claim. So you can sign up for the webinar or that online intensive. Okay, so that's for those of you that are new, or if you need some inspiration. Maybe you've been with me for a while, but you're like, I need more help, or I need a refresher. Come on and join. Again, warriorgoddess.com/claim. I'm also doing, we don't have this up yet, but just to plant the seed for you all, get yourself on the email list. And if you want to just share your email, I'll make sure that you get on the email list. That we're also doing a part-day workshop next Saturday. And that workshop is going to be I feel like one of my most profound teachings. It's a workshop called Reclaim that I do live. And it'll be the first time. Okay, yay, I'll meet you there. It's going to be the first time that I offer it online to the public. So that is also free. And you can join us. And I don't have the link yet because we haven't created it. But if you join the list, you'll get the information about it when we have it. I'll be announcing it on Tuesday. Oh, that's beautiful, Nikki. Yeah, buy the book. And if you win, pay it forward to my closest friend. I love that. Absolutely. So again, join the email list. warriorgoddess.com/claim is for the online, or if you want to just join the giveaway, warriorgoddess.com/giveaway. And I'll be back again tomorrow for another one. And these giveaways, we're doing live streaming through January 11th. You can come join. Yay, Amanda. And we're also about to open our Warrior Goddess Training Circle. So I have a membership circle. It's the one now public thing that we do online if you want to study more deeply with me and with our community. So we'll be opening that circle up next week. So you are so welcome, love. So happy to be doing the giveaway. Again, if you're just joining us, make sure that you put your email address into the giveaway. You can add it into the chat and I'll go bring it. Thanks, Jackie. warriorgoddess.com/giveaway. We are doing a drawing every day. We'll be announcing all the winners January 15th for 2 free autographed books from my collection, either Warrior Goddess Training or Warrior Heart Practice, and a gift from my personal collection. One of the things I do with the giveaways is I look around and see what am I ready to let go of. And so that gets mailed out to the winner. And we're also having a drawing for the big grand prize, a year-long membership in the Warrior Goddess Training Circle. So, yeah. Yes, Doe, witness negative thoughts from a place of non-judgment and compassion. Yeah, and to not, here's the trick, sweeties, is to not take ourselves so personally or our thoughts so personally. Your inner dialogue, you've been talking to yourself the way you've talked to yourself for probably years. And how did you learn how to talk to yourself in a negative way? How did you learn to have an inner critic? You learned it from the people that raised you probably, or from your peers, or from your teachers when you were a kid. Okay. Remember, most of our schooling is based on punishment and reward. And so of course we start talking to ourselves in a negative way. So we're learning how to change our inner dialogue and speak to ourself, not from a place of everything's good and it's always perfect and it's going to be fine and I'm always going to be in love, but from a place of, I got you, sweetheart. Yes, sometimes it's hard. And I'm here and we'll get up together and try again. To have that supportive, loving, present relationship to ourselves, where we're an ally to ourselves rather than an enemy. Yeah. All right, sweet ones. Thanks for tuning in today. I am now going to finish moving into my new place. And I'm really grateful to have this forum that we can, again, come together to learn how to let go of expectations, how to live unconditionally, how to step into 2021 in a new way, and to know that we've got support. We have each other. Thanks, dear ones. Take good care of yourself. Hope to see you tomorrow or sometime soon. I'll be again live right here, 9 a.m. Los Angeles, noon New York, 5 p.m. London. Take good care, sweet ones. Bye-bye.